Hello?
Mr. Trump, thank you for being here for the debate today.
He famously told a voter, I want you to look in my eyes when he's not wearing the mask, because I've never seen a man that liked a mask. Look, I'm all for
Donald Trump, a tape was released confirming that you were lying about COVID being a hoax. How do you respond to that?
We have a big weekend, distance on the weekend, and all of that stuff, and wear your mask when you're close together in particular, and wash your hands, all those things. We have Labor Day weekend coming up. But did you ever see a man that likes a mask as much as him? And then he makes a speech, and he always has it, not always, but a lot of times he has it hanging down because
Why, Mr. Trump, did you stop or attempt to stop the Russia investigations?
Russia wants to see in office is Donald Trump, because nobody's been tougher on Russia than I have ever.
That's not what
Well, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody with any common sense would say, do it. Look at what we've done with our military. Look at what we've done in exposing the pipeline with billions of dollars going to Russia. Look at all of the things we've done with NATO, where I've raised $130 billion a year from countries that were delinquent, and now they're paying all of this money. And the 130, by the way, $130 billion, not million, billion, goes to $400 billion over a few years. And that's all money to protect against Russia. China would love us to have an election where Donald Trump lost to Sleepy Joe Biden. They would dream, they would own our country. If Joe Biden was president, China would own our country. And you said another country, what was the third country?
No, just those two.
No, you didn't say that in the report. The report said Iran also, but you didn't say that.
I didn't.
Iran would love to see me, Iran would love to see me not be president. And I'll make this statement. If and when we win, we will make deals with Iran very quickly. We'll make deals with North Korea very quickly. Now, whatever happened to the war in North Korea? You haven't seen that, have you? If I didn't win the election in 2016, our country would now be, maybe it would be over by now, but in war with North Korea. Everybody said, oh, Trump will get us in war. Not just the opposite. And we actually have a relationship with North Korea, which is something that was never established by the previous administration. You would have been in war with North Korea, and it would have been a very bad war. So North Korea, whether you look at Iran, every one of them will make a deal with us very quickly. Iran is dying to make a deal, but they want to see, because they'd much rather make a deal with Biden. Because if they make a deal with the United States, if China makes a deal with the United States with Biden in charge, they would own our country. Look what I've done. I've taken billions, tens of billions of dollars from China. China was having the worst year they've had in 67 years, and we were having the best year we've ever had. With big tax cuts, with big regulation cuts, we've rebuilt our military. We became independent in terms of energy. We're the energy leader of the world. We were having the best year we've ever had. By the way, African American, Asian American, Hispanic American unemployment numbers, the best in the history of our country. All things, and many other groups too, including women, including high school diploma, no high school diploma, college diploma. Everybody was doing better. The last thing that Russia wants, and China wants, and Iran wants would be for Donald Trump to win. Yes, please.
Just to follow up, what do you plan to do about that interference, sir?
Well, we're going to look at it very closely. You tell me that this came out a little while ago, and I've heard that it came out. It came out just a little while ago, and we're going to look at that very closely. But you started off with Russia. Why don't you start off with China? Do you think China's maybe a bigger threat? I mean, I think maybe it is. I mean, you'll have to figure it out. But we're going to watch all of them. We have to be very careful. The biggest risk that we have is mail-in ballots, because with the mail-in ballots, called universal mail-in ballots, it is a much easier thing for a foreign power, whether it's Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, many others, people, countries you wouldn't expect. It's much easier for them to forge ballots and send them in. It's much easier for them to cheat with universal mail-in ballots. So I think one of the things we'll have to look at is exactly that. But that's a big problem. That's a big problem. You saw in New York, they called the winner, but they had no idea.
Also, Mr. Trump, why why do you have financial ties to Russia? Tell me in your own words.
A feeling of security. If I were a psychiatrist, right? No, I'd say this guy's got some big issues. Hanging down. Hanging down. Congressman, give me your mask. I want to have it hanging from my ear. I don't want to touch your damn mask. Mike, I'll never touch your mask. They want to ban straws. Has anybody ever tried those paper straws? They're not working too good, right? They want to ban straws. I said, well, you know, I've had a couple of meals at McDonald's, etc., over the years, right? Wendy's, a friend of mine owns Wendy's. I'll give it a plug, right? Burger King. So they want to ban straws. I said, oh, really? What about the carton? What about the plate? What about the knives and the spoons that are plastic? Oh, they're okay. But the straws we got to ban. Has anybody ever tried? Seriously, the new straw, it's made out of paper, right? It disintegrates as you're drinking. If you have a nice tie like this tie, this would have no chance. By the time you get finished, the straw is totally disintegrated. Does anybody walk around with a plastic straw? Because it's not bad. You know, you whip it out, boom, boom. You never had to do that.
For your own political benefit? Well then, and if that's the case, why did you hire Michael Flynn during the investigation only to praise him afterwards?
I don't care politically. I really don't. A lot of people don't understand this. I ran one election and I won. Happened to be for president. I don't care politically. I'm going to run another election. I think I'm winning based on polls that we see. Whether I win or not, I have to do the right thing. So I don't do things for political reasons. Is it good? Probably.
Why, Donald Trump, did you fire James Comey?
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting.
Why, Mr. Trump, did you get an attorney general that serves your own political gains instead of the needs of the country? Tell me.
The meanest, the most horrible, most disrespectful of anybody in the...
Mr. Trump, if Joe Biden has a stutter, then why do you and your son call him Dementia Joe?
With a heart full of gratitude and boundless optimism, I profoundly accept this nomination for President of...
Yeah, well, I think it's just psychological projection that you're using, Mr. Trump.
Brave Americans before us, we are meeting this challenge. We are delivering life-saving therapies and will produce a vaccine before the end of the year, or maybe even sooner. Joe Biden's plan is not a solution to the virus, but rather it's a surrender to the virus. If we had listened to Joe, hundreds of thousands more Americans would have died. Instead of following the science, Joe Biden wants to inflict a painful shutdown on the entire country. His shutdown would inflict unthinkable and lasting harm on our nation's children, families, and citizens of all backgrounds. The cost of the Biden shutdown would be measured in increased drug overdoses, depression, alcohol addiction, suicides, heart attacks, economic devastation, job loss, and much more. We will make sure our companies and jobs stay in our country, as I've already been doing for quite some time, if you've noticed. Joe Biden's agenda is made in China. My agenda is made in the USA. And I have done more in 3 years for the black community than Joe Biden has done in 47 years. And when I'm reelected, the best is yet to come.
Tell me why, Mr. Trump, you ultimately told your intelligence officials to calm down the threat coming from Russia and tried to get Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden.
That you have to do this or I'm not going to give you aid. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do
Mr. Trump, you did an incompetent response to the coronavirus pandemic. One better way to do things would be to listen to the scientists and the experts.
other people that do that. I don't. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius.
I know you think that you're a stable genius, and I know that you're wrong about being one. But I'm way smarter than Athena, and therefore, I know more than you do, Mr.